was when I read it?
Yeah,
Okay, now see if you can get it. Just lift your thumbs so it'll come out. There you go. Did you get that?
Yep, got it.
You guys saw the club. Just lift your thumbs so it'll come out. There you go.
You get a mess with them as much as you want.
Thanks for being a trooper.
When I broke the bone was first week of fall practice. It was actually, I think it was our first day of full pads, and I remember the play that it happened on. I was coming down to block the defensive end, and I kind of just popped my thumb, and at first I kind of was like, whoa, what is going on? But I ended up trying to pop it back in a couple times, and it went, but it didn't stay. And that's when I went over to the trainers because I figured something was wrong. And initially, we thought it was a Bennett's fracture, and that I'd be out for a week, put a cast on it, and I'd be good to go. So obviously not how I wanted to start off my senior season, but I was under the impression I'd be able to play football again. So I got over it pretty quickly. But then when we found out that it was not a Bennett's fracture and that the bone was actually shattered down there, when I went into surgery, I was told there's two possibilities. One, I'm going to wake up and there will be metal in my arm, external fixation, and my season is done if I wake up with that. The other was, no metal, maybe a couple pins to try and hold the bones together. But I ended up waking up with the external fixation, and that was like a nightmare.
He had an injury to his thumb, where what it appeared to be a Bennett's fracture, where it was an unstable fracture of the base of the thumb metacarpal. It turned out to be an unstable thumb fracture, but of the trapezium. The trapezium was fractured, and the thumb was unstable, so it was similar to a Bennett's fracture. So once we diagnosed it, an X-ray confirmed that it was a trapezial fracture, and then we did a CAT scan to actually see the entire trapezium and to get the bony anatomy of it. It would require surgery, but it was a question of whether or not the surgery could be done with simple internal fixation or would require not only internal fixation but external fixation, where we would put pins in the thumb metacarpal and in the radius, so it would distract it and hold it in place. The term we would use is ligamentotaxis. So at the time of surgery, the exposure for the trapezium was done, and I was able to internally fix the trapezium, but it was not totally stable, so therefore the secondary external fixation was performed, and that was what I termed earlier ligamentotaxis. And we kept that on there for about 4 weeks to allow the fracture to be the joint space to be distracted, so that the fracture would have greater congruence in the joint. So the pins remained in place, and we first took the pins out at 4 weeks, and we actually removed the external fixator at 6 weeks. The fracture basically healed by 4 weeks, but we wanted a greater soft tissue envelope healing, so therefore we left the external fixation on for a full 6 weeks. So once the fracture had healed, which was at 6 weeks, the external fixation was removed. X-rays were done along the way at week 2, at week 4, and then at week 6. When we took the external fixator off, the fracture had healed. It was not unstable, and we could allow Pat to now wear a cast for another 2 weeks, which was week 8 of the injury, and then for probably the last 2 games of the season, Pat simply played with a little splint around his thumb and had the cast removed. The end result was excellent. The player, Pat, was extremely happy, and he was able to compete much more quickly than even I anticipated due to his hard work and the training staff working with him. The long